everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ella, and today we're going to be talking about the 26 books I would like to read in 2026. Also, Happy New Year. I just got these new microphones for Christmas and I tested them out. I went and walked in my bedroom and was talking into it because I was like, I don't know if that's my phone microphone or if these are just that good. And I'm very impressed by the quality so far. So, thanks, Jack. That's my boyfriend. He got them for me. So excited. He is so supportive of my YouTube channel. And honestly, so is everyone in my life. I am so grateful. And I'm just kind of excited to start the new year off. I want to post like higher quality videos and more chatty videos so you guys can get to know me a little bit better. I think I have like 20 subscribers right now, and I'm saying that because I'd like to see how many I have by the end of the year. The subscriber count has never been anything that I really care about. I'm doing these videos for me, and I just have a lot of fun with it. So, my hope is to be more consistent, although I am finishing off my last semester at school before I get my associate's degree. So, I might be a little bit busy. I'm working full time and doing school full time. So, hoping I can take a little bit of time each week to film and edit. And yeah, anyway, let's just get right into it, shall we? I think I have like an hour to film this video. My mom's coming to pick me up at around 4 or 5, so I have to make sure I film this before she calls me and ruins my filming. Also, ignore the lipstick on the can, but I'm drinking the Peach Vibe Celsius. This is like one of my favorites. I have a few core flavors that I stick with, and this is one of them. I think my favorite flavor from the very beginning of my Celsius journey has been Fuji apple pear. If you have not had that one, it's so refreshing and delicious. Anyway, so I have 6 different categories here. The very first one is new releases. I cannot wait for it. Is Heartstopper Volume 6 by Alice Oseman. I have read and reread the Heartstopper series. I love Nick and Charlie. I love the show. I think it's so sweet. I actually don't know if I finished the most recent season. I'm not very good at watching TV, so but yeah, I'm so excited. I'm not quite sure when that comes out. I don't think there's a date for it quite yet. If there is, I will insert the date for any of these books down below. Second one is Half His Age by Jeanette McCurdy. I read Jeanette McCurdy's memoir, which was I'm Glad My Mom Died. I read that a couple years ago and I absolutely loved it. I think she's such a talented writer, and her life is so tragic. She grew up as a child star, if you've not heard of Jeanette McCurdy, but she's pretty popular from iCarly. So I was so excited to hear she's coming out with a novel, a fiction novel. I actually did not look at the description. I kind of want to just go into it. The third book for new releases is The Knave and the Moon by Rachel Gillig. I read The Night and the Moth in 2025, right when it came out. I have a beautiful copy. This is my copy of The Night and the Moth. It has the really pretty sprayed edges. Anyway, with how this story went, I'm just very curious. I don't even know if The Knave and the Moon follows the same characters. I'm assuming it does because that's just kind of how Rachel Gillig writes her stories. Well, this is the first book I've read by Rachel Gillig. So I don't know if her previous duology, I'm blanking on the name. One Dark Window. The Shepherd King duology. I actually don't know if they follow the same characters. I think it's like the same. Maybe it is two different characters, but anyway, I'm not sure. I should shut up. Anyway, very excited for The Knave and the Moon. I am really hoping I can reread this before then, but we'll see. Then I'm so excited. If you guys didn't know, one of my favorite books, I think from 2024, was The Eyes Are the Best Part, which will be showing up in this list later on, and you'll see why. But I just saw on NetGalley that Monica Kim is coming out with a new novel, and it is called Molka. And I actually was accepted for the ARC, the e-ARC for Molka. And so I'm going to be reading that very, very soon. But I'm so freaking excited. I feel like I should read what this is about for you guys, because this is like one of my most anticipated releases of 2026. So it is horror, and let's see what the Goodreads description says. Dahe can't believe her luck when she finds herself in a whirlwind romance with handsome, charismatic Hyuk-jun, the heir to a multi-million-dollar fortune. But then a shocking revelation threatens. The couple has been caught on a spy cam amid Korea's growing molka epidemic, and the video is all over the internet. When Hyuk-jun flees the country to avoid the intense public scrutiny, Dae is left to grapple with the ramifications on her own, and the demons from her childhood, long dormant, begin to surface. Amid the chaos, she catches the attention of Jun Young, a nerdy, introverted IT tech at work. Jun Young harbors a dark secret. He has been spying on the women at work with his own hidden cameras. As Dahe's life begins to unravel, she unknowingly becomes the sole target of Jun Young's perverse obsession. When the facts surrounding the invasion of her privacy come to light, Dahe is faced with the humiliating truth. Her pain and hurt turn to rage as she faces her past. Her desire for vengeance is insatiable, and she will not rest until the men who have wronged her have paid in blood. Yeah. Yeah. Monica Kim does a great female rage revenge story. And I know that because The Eyes Are the Best Part was filled with so much feminine rage and revenge. And yeah, I love this book so much. And I cannot wait to get my hands on a physical copy of Mocha. But I'm going to be reading it via NetGalley first. All right, the next section I have is physical TBR. I would, of course, like to read more than 4 books from my physical TBR this year, but these are the 4 books that are on my radar, as to what I want to pick up immediately. The first one being, it's at the very bottom of the stack. Hang on. The very first book I have in this section is I Want to Die, But I Want to Eat Tteokbokki by Bak Sihi. I think that's how you pronounce her name. I'm so sorry if I'm butchering that. I actually just found out that this author passed away, but I think that made me want to pick up this memoir even more. I don't know. It kind of makes me sad to talk about it and think about it. She looks like a very cute woman. So, yeah. There's also a follow-up novel to this as well. The second one I have, which these are all fairly new purchases. Naturally, I do get more excited to read newer purchases. The second one I have is Ghostfish by Stuart Pennebaker. This has been on my radar for a little while, and I over Christmas got a bunch of Barnes & Noble gift cards, and this is one that I purchased, as well as I Want to Die, But I Want to Eat Tteokbokki. But this one follows Allison, and she is a 23-year-old mourning the loss of her younger sister who has drowned at sea. And late one night, she sees a shape in the air, and it happens to be a ghost that looks like a fish. And Allison knows without hesitation it's her beloved sister finally returned to her side, safe in a pickle jar filled with water. The ghost fish goes wherever Allison does. She knows she must protect her sister from the world the way she didn't before. She knows that together they will never be lonely again. But as Allison's new life begins to grow, and as she navigates the murky waters of friendship and desire, she must ask, what if her sister is keeping her away from a life outwardly lived? And I find books about grief really interesting. I've lost pets and, people that I'm not super close to, but I don't feel like I've dealt with grief very directly. And I think reading books about grief is a great way to prepare for it as I get older and as people I love get older. I have a lot of people around me who have dealt with grief very closely. So I think it just gives me a little bit more insight into, the feelings they may have gone through. And, it's just something that is so foreign to me. So yeah, I just find it very interesting. The next book I have on this list is, where did it just go? The next book is a very, very short one, and that is Kappa, and I do not know how to pronounce this author's name, Ryunosuke Akutagawa. This is a short novel that follows patient number 3, a madman in a Japanese lunatic asylum. He recounts how, while out hiking in Kamikochi, he spotted a kappa. Deciding to chase it like Alice pursuing the white rabbit, he tumbles down a hole out of the human world and into the realm of the kappas. That's all I'm going to say. It is so short. It's under 100 pages for sure. I guess this is a kappa. But I've heard very good things about this. And it was on the like recommended shelf at my Barnes and Noble. So I'm really, really curious about that one. And I think it'll be a really quick and easy one to get through. The last book in this section is none other than Dracula by Bram Stoker. I'm actually trying to collect these beautiful Penguin Classics Deluxe editions, but my one rule with these is that I have to read one before purchasing the next. Otherwise, I'm going to have a large collection of classics, and then it will just be too intimidating for me. So before I buy any more, I need to get through this one, and this is the first one I chose to buy. Hold on, I'm gonna set this down so I can show you the cover. When you open it like this, you get like the full. I don't know how to do this without messing up my book. But yeah, you get like the full. Oh my god, I just ripped it. You're kidding, you're kidding, you're kidding. It's okay. That was so stupid. I just ripped it, and that was so stupid, but you could barely tell. It's fine. That's so painful. Those are the 4 books that I would like to get to immediately from my physical TBR. Let's move on to the next section, which is series continuations. I don't know how many series I'm in the middle of at this very moment, but I know it's over 10, which is very overwhelming to me. The first book I have is A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. I finally finished the A Court of Thorns and Roses series last year, and I was so eager to get to A Court of Silver Flames, and then I kept getting like 7% into it, 10% into it, and I was like, I don't know why I'm just not feeling this right now. It's so long. And I think it's just a shock to the system to be in a different point of view in a world you love so much. So I don't know. I really would like to just finish that off. There is talk of potentially new books coming from this series. So we'll see. Next up, I would like to read The Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss. This is the second book in the Kingkiller Chronicle, I think that's what it's called, series. I was kind of hesitant. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to finish this series because the series is not finished, and we don't know if Patrick Rothfuss is ever going to finish the series. I read The Name of the Wind early last year, and I really liked it. It was great. I see why everyone loves it so much, and I'd be really curious to continue the story. God damn it. My cat threw up, guys. 1 second. Anyways, hopefully I was done talking about The Wise Man's Fear because I don't know what else I was going to say. Next up, we have a very different book. That is God of Ruin by Rena Kent. This is a dark romance series, and I've read the first 3 books. God of Ruin is the 4th book, and there is 6 books total. I read the first 3 books pretty close to each other, and then I kind of got bored of the repetitiveness, but I think it's been long enough where I might enjoy the next book in the series. But yeah, really excited to continue that series. It's definitely a trashy, smutty good time. And sometimes you just need to throw that in there. Every couple books, you just need something fun and quick. The last book in this section is Redeeming Six by Chloe Walsh. I read the first 3 books in the Boys of Tommen series in 2025. Absolutely loved them. They're definitely a slog to get through, but not in a bad way, more in an emotional, taxing kind of way where they just cover a lot of very heavy topics. And I really enjoyed Saving Six. That follows Joey and Aoife, and this is kind of the second book from that couple's perspective. So I'm really, really excited to get to that one and wrap up their story. Next up, we have reading challenges. So in 2026, I would like to start 2 different reading challenges. I've actually kind of started one of them, but I'll talk about it in a second. I also, hold on, pause. Don't think I've introduced you to my newest kitten. His name is Moby. He might come over here in a second and I'll show you him. But yeah, we did get another kitten. We love him so much, but he is definitely a typical orange cat. So the first reading challenge I would like to start in 2026. I know I will not finish it because it is like 50 books long. That is reading around the United States. I don't think the author necessarily has to be from that state. It just has to be set in that state. So the first book I have, and I would like to do this in order from A to Z. The first book I have is A Mask of Infamy by Kelly DeSaint. I'm going to pull this up because I think the description is quite interesting. This is a story of teenage rebellion, punk rock, and survival. After moving from Los Angeles to small town Alabama in 1987, Louis Baudry tries to fit in at the local high school, but the Bible thumpers and the rednecks don't take too kindly to his outlandish wardrobe and punk attitude. At home, he defies the sadistic intentions of Rick, his father's friend, who tries to rule the household with an iron fist. As Louis is about to be shipped off to military school, he stumbles upon indisputable proof that will free him and his younger brother from Rick's tyranny. But just when he thinks their troubles are over, they're locked up in the adolescent ward of a mental hospital where Louis must fight the red tape of the system to save himself, his brother, and maybe even his dream of being a punk rocker. I think this will be a very interesting coming of age novel, and I'm hoping it will give me a little background on Alabama as a state. The next one, which is actually on Kindle Unlimited, which I just found out, is The Snow Child by Ewan Ivey, and this takes place in Alaska. I don't know why I said Alaska. Alaska. Which one of my best friends is from Alaska. Shout out Luke. I actually don't know if he's from there, if he just lived there for a while. I thought he was born there. I don't even know. Anyway, this book takes place in 1920s Alaska, a brutal place to homestead and especially tough for recent arrivals Jack and Mabel. My boyfriend's name is Jack, so that's fun. Childless, they are drifting apart, he breaking under the weight of the work of the farm, she crumbling from loneliness and despair. In a moment of levity during the season's first snowfall, they build a child out of snow. The next morning, the snow child is gone, but they glimpse a young blonde-haired girl running through the trees. This little girl, who calls herself Faina, seems to be a child of the woods. She hunts with a red fox at her side, skims lightly across the snow, and somehow survives alone in the Alaskan wilderness. I think this is going to be a really fun and heartwarming story. I hope so. The next two in this list are going to be for my other reading challenge, which is reading around the world. And this I'm not doing alphabetically. I thought I was going to, but for this reading challenge, the author has to be from the country and it has to take place in the country that they're from. So for the first book, I would like to read The Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseini, and this is for Afghanistan. See, this is when I was going to go in order alphabetically. I have never read The Kite Runner. I know this is a very, very renowned book, so I'm really excited to get into this one. The second one is The Plague by Albert Camus. Camus is from Algeria, and yeah, I don't know anything about this book. I just would really like to read it, and I found this in a free little library. Fun fact. Those are the four books I'd like to read for my different reading challenges. And then we're going to move on to the second to last section, which is Kindle Unlimited books. These are mostly, actually, all of them are fantasy. First off, we have Riftborn by Greenwich and Lennox. I've been hearing a ton about The Ascended, and I know you have to read, or it's recommended to read Riftborn and Duskbound first. I think that's the second novel. Also, this is Moby. You may be able to see him. I can't tell, but he is an orange boy. He doesn't really like being held, but he's very sweet. Yes, and he's the one who just threw up. So stop, please. Next up, I would like to read Metal Slinger by Rachel Schneider. Obviously, this book is very popular right now as well. And I hear the cliffhanger at the end of this book is insane. And I just want to see for myself. Okay. I've wanted to read this for a little while, and the second book comes out this year. So then I have two other series that I've been really wanting to get into. My goal with all of these series is to kind of read them back to back so I don't have to like add them to my series continuation list. If I just get them done, that'd be great. But the next one is The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. I've wanted to read The Poppy War or anything by R.F. Kuang for quite a while now, and I thought it'd be best to just start reading her backlist by publication orders. So I think I'm going to do that. And I think the first book she wrote was The Poppy War. The next book is Jade City by Fonda Lee. This is another, I think it's sci-fi fantasy or maybe just fantasy. I'm not quite sure. I've wanted to read this series for some time now too. I know a lot of my mutuals really, really love it. So yeah, I don't know what any of these series are about really. Not really. My last section here actually consists of 6 books, and this is all of the rereads I would like to do this year. The first three are actually all by Taylor Jenkins Reid. We have The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I would like to read and annotate this. And then we have Daisy Jones and the Six, which I actually reread for the first time last year, and I would like to do another reread of it this year. I love this book. This is like my favorite book of all time. If you did not know, I think it's incredible. And then I would also like to reread Malibu Rising and annotate this as well. I actually have not read Carrie Soto is Back or Atmosphere, and I'd like to reread these before I go into those novels. Now that we have Taylor Jenkins Reid out of the way, I actually am lending this next book out to a friend right now, one of my coworkers. But that is Shark Heart by Emily Hibbeck. This was one of my favorite books of 2024. It is so, so, so good. It is a book that I think about on the daily, and I just want to reread and annotate that as well. I really only annotate books if I consider them like God tier. So that's what all of these are for. I kind of want to just annotate them if they are not annotated already. I would like to reread and annotate The Eyes Are the Best Part by Monica Kim. I love this book so much. I've already talked about it. I love the main character. She is flawed, but you know what they say, we support women's rights and we also support women's wrongs. And I do. I actually have two books, but I would like to tandem read them, and that is Powerless and Powerful. I'm counting them as one book because this is a little novella, and I actually did annotate them the first time I read them. I had Reckless and Fearless on my list last year, and I didn't end up getting to them. So I think I'm just going to reread these, and then hopefully I'll go into those books right after. But Powerful made me cry, and I do not cry to books, and this was so impactful. I know a lot of people don't love this series, but I just can't relate. I love this book so much, and I love these characters so much, and I think it'd be very fun to reread these and see what I annotated the first time around. So, yeah, that is my list, you guys. Those are the 26 books I would like to read in 2026, and I actually thought it'd be fun to go over my list of 25 books I wanted to read in 2025 real quick. So out of the 25 books I read, one, two, three, four, five, six. 6 out of 25. That's crazy. I read 24% of my list. Wow. I'm hoping to have a higher success rate this year. Let's plan for it, shall we? Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will hopefully see you very, very soon. Bye, guys.